All right, students, let's go through Chapter 13 review. Let's bust on through this, make sure you guys have everything you need to be prepared for the test. Hopefully this helps you out. I will also post this online, and make sure you just kind of go over it and review it and make sure you're ready for the test. All right, let's get started. Okay, define what a protective tariff is. Protective tariff is a tax on imported goods in order to make the imported goods more expensive than domestically produced goods. Remember that. Protective tariffs is to protect domestic goods for the most part. All right, what was used to solve the disagreements over protective tariffs in the early 1800s? Why, that would be accommodation and compromise. Okay, what did the northern businessmen in Congress do that upset the Southerners in the early 1800s? If you guys just remembered, we just talked about them. Protective tariffs to protect northern manufacturing from foreign imports. So, protection. All right, so what did South Carolina threaten to do because they were upset by tariffs? Remember, South Carolina, naughty kids. They believed in nullification, which means they were then wanting to secede or leave the United States. Stopped by Jackson when he said, look, we're going to come down, send the military, and knock you guys out. But anyways. Okay, who argues that protective tariffs were unconstitutional? That'd be John C. Calhoun. What is it called when one portion of the country cares more about their issues than about issues in other parts of countries? Why, that would be sectionalism. Remember, when you're looking at that, you're dividing into sections. That's the easiest way to remember this. During the 1850s, compromise tried to keep balance between which two types of states? And this is not the North and the South. Remember, not the North and the South. Free states and slave states. Okay, what did Congress do with new states in order to ensure that the balance of power remained equal? Remember, they would allow them to enter in as pairs, so you would have a free state and a slave state to ensure you had balance in the United States Senate to try to protect the institution of slavery just a little bit longer. Okay, which plan divided Louisiana Purchase into two sections, one allowing slaves and one not? This is a Missouri Compromise. Remember that. The Missouri deals with the Louisiana Purchase. You have to link Missouri and Louisiana. Sorry, guys. I know it's tricky, but you got to. Okay, which senator is responsible for both the Missouri Compromise and the Compromise of 1850? Henry Clay. Remember Henry Clay. If the history just treated him a little bit kinder, he may have been president at one point. Okay, what was the idea that people of a state should decide for themselves if they wanted slavery or not? Call. Remember this one, guys. It is popular sovereignty. Means that the popular vote gets to decide. Which plan stopped the potential secession of the South in the mid-1800s? Why, that'd be the Compromise of 1850. Okay, how many factors ended the ability of Congress to compromise? So there was 3 of them. That would be popular sovereignty, Kansas-Nebraska Act, and the Dred Scott decision. So what was the ability, what ended the ability of Congress to add slave and state and free states? Why, that again, popular sovereignty. Better remember popular sovereignty, shouldn't you? Okay, which plan allowed slavery in the Western Territories? That would have been the Kansas-Nebraska Act. Okay, and why did abolitionists encourage their followers to move to Kansas? Remember when we talked about bleeding Kansas? It was to hopefully ensure that Kansas would enter the Union as a free state. That was their goal. What was the name of the event that claimed over 200 lives in 1856? We just said it, bleeding Kansas. What ruled that the Constitution did not allow Congress to outlaw or limit slavery? That would be your Dred Scott decision by the Supreme Court. Dred Scott decision. Which party was formed in the 1850s that was aimed at ending slavery? Well, that would be the Republican Party. Why did the Whig and Democratic parties not take a stand on slavery? Well, they would lose political support, and they feared that the South would have seceded if they would have taken a firm stance on it. Who was elected president in 1856 because he did not take a stand on slavery? That would be the worst president in history, James Buchanan. Yes, I know I tell you guys that a lot, but he still is the worst president ever. Which party did Abraham Lincoln belong to when he ran for senator and later for president? Why, that would be Republican again. Might want to remember that Republican Party in this test coming up here. Which candidate ran against Lincoln that represented the Southern Democrats? Remember, Southern Democrats. There was a split. That would be John C. Breckinridge. John C. Breckinridge. And what was a major deciding factor in Lincoln winning the election? That was because the Democratic Party had split. And lastly, in which year was Lincoln elected president? 1860. All right, guys, there's your review. I know it was fast and furious, but hopefully you can watch this a few times because it goes so fast. And then be prepared to take the test. Alrighty, guys, you're going to have today to prepare. Make sure you're ready for work tomorrow. Have yourself a good one, okay?